Today's episode is one I have been waiting to record for a long time. I am so excited because today it's going to be, yes, an inspirational episode, but also informative in terms of how you're going to think about what you're going to do once you're retired. Because I imagine a lot of you are saving and investing to your 401k. Some of you might say, yes, Ari, I am burnt out. I don't know exactly when I'm going to retire, but I can't wait. Others of you, it's no, I'm not dying to retire, but I just want to know financially when I'm in a position to pursue what's most important to me. So here's what today's episode is going to be all about. I have an ebook, and you're going to see that in the description. And when you download my ebook, I ask you, what is something you can't wait to no longer have to do once you retired? And then I asked a few other people, I go, what are you most excited about once you retire? So depending on when you download the ebook, you'll get one of those two questions. And today I am sharing with you all of the answers that I have received, of which they're not technically all of the answers, but I'm going to tell you guys hundreds of responses that I have received from downloads that have come from this ebook, of which there have been thousands of you that have opted in. So thank you for doing so. I hope that it has been helpful. I cannot wait for today's episode if you can't tell. So we're going to hop right in. Now, some of you might be thinking, Ari, are you going to say my name and what I can't wait to no longer do? What if my boss? I am never going to say anyone's name. If I do, I'm always going to use a pseudonym, so you do not have to worry about security purposes. I promise none of your bosses are going to hear any of this, and maybe they're listening to the podcast as well. You never know. So here's what we're going to start walking through is I'm not going to do any names. I'm going to explain a few things that some of which I'm sure you're going to go, yes, I can't wait to also not have to do that. And also, yes, that's something I did not consider with an early retirement. And it's good to know other people are looking forward to that. It might spark a new idea for you. So if you're looking for an episode on tax planning or on RMDs, plus me, I have so many episodes on that. You can see in my catalog of episodes, I have that. Today is going to be focusing on why on earth are you doing that 401k saving and investing so you can do some of the stuff I'm talking about today. So a little bit of a different spin here, but want to keep it loose, want to make sure that we're always thinking about, okay, what is most important for this? So let's hop in. And the first one I got when I first launched the ebook, I said, what are you most excited to never have to do ever again once you are retired? And they said, I can't wait to stop getting up early and commuting 2 to 3 hours each way. Now, when I saw that, I was in shock because I used to drive to work. Now I work from home, but the reality is 2 to 3 hours each way, that takes a big impact to one, your health, of course, but two, overall, lifestyle. I mean, hard to spend time with family when you're driving that much. And so just always want to, yes, I want to inspire you all to how many more years do you need to keep working? Go through a planning process and see it. It's really hard to feel confident about retirement if you don't know when that date might happen. And I promise a lot of you are going, Ari, I don't really want to go through it because maybe it's more years than I think. Trust me, go through it. Even if it's more years than you think, you might go, wow, I'm willing to spend less if it means I could retire sooner. Or you might go the opposite. No, I don't want to retire sooner if it means I'm going to not be able to spend X number of dollars that you want to spend. So it's just helpful, I promise, to go to work knowing here's how much longer you have to be working. And a lot of you, I know, enjoy what you do. So I don't want this to seem like, hey, you need to stop working. I want you to know financially when you no longer need to keep working. So the next answer here, what's something that you can't wait to no longer have to do once you're retired that you have to do right now? Endless meetings that don't mean anything. That's what this person said here. That's funny. Endless meetings that don't mean anything. I imagine a lot of you have gone through that, especially in the corporate world. I do hear about that often. So definitely don't want you to be in meetings that are useless. The next person here says, excited to no longer have to worry about hitting sales targets. Imagine a lot of you out there who are in a high sales position, have a healthy income. You are likely in that same boat where you just don't want to have to think about quotas and sales targets. So really like that response there. Next response, focus on my body, mind, relationships, and charity. I like that. Body, mind, relationships, and charity. Very good. The next one, freedom of my time. Yes, I want you to have more freedom for your time as well. Love that. Got a few freedom of times. Next one, live on a schedule that revolves around my schedule, not my work schedule. Once again, going to control over your time. You guys want more time to do what you want to do. Let's understand how long you need to keep working and how can you do that without a plan. So the next one I have here, don't want to have to dread about Mondays anymore. So that idea, those scary Sundays that people talk, I think they call it Sunday scaries. I've never had that, admittedly, but I know people have that where on a Sunday, you're like, oh, the next Monday's coming. I love my job, maybe to a dangerous degree because I'm just always researching and this is just something I'm obsessed with. So I don't have that, but I do know that there are I had a job, this is many, many years ago, but I had a job and there was one time where I was in college actually at this point and I was working in the admissions office and I was talking about exactly, just what I had to do the next day. And I remember, my partner at that time was like, you don't sound excited for that next Monday. I was like, I guess I'm not. So anyway, I can relate to that one right there. Let's look at a few others here. I'm just scrolling on my list here. So if you sense any delay, I'm going through the different list here. The next person says, sitting in all-day conferences, excited to no longer have to sit, not just, so they said sitting in all-day conferences, they're excited to not have to do that anymore. But then they say, also excited to not have to sit any longer. I want to walk when I want to walk. I like that. You do not have to walk. And I personally preach this where I don't take more than 2 to 3 meetings a day maximum because I want to spend my time moving as well. And it's important. I feel better and I totally hear you there. So I like that. Next one is getting on a Zoom call. Doesn't like getting on Zoom calls. Okay, Zoom is not for everyone. I do a lot of Zoom calls, so I don't mind that, but I can see how people don't want to get on Zoom calls. Let me look through another one here. Work 3 to 12-hour shifts in a row. Any of you that are out there doing that, I imagine you are excited to no longer have to do that anymore. And I know a lot of you are listening to this going, that is mine. Yes, I heard that. And if you don't hear yours here, it doesn't mean I didn't choose it. I'm going down the list here and just, picking a few I think will resonate. The next one here, I'm excited to spend more time with my family during working days normally. So what they're saying is excited to not just have family time on the weekends. It's also during the week, making every single day a Friday. I like it, but a fun Friday, if you will. Call it a Saturday is really what I should say there. I like that. Next person says, having to spend my time working rather than doing other things I enjoy. Yes, they don't want to spend their time working. They would rather do things they enjoy, going back to the control over your time. So I want you all, don't close your eyes if you're driving, but if you're not, it sounds silly, but I actually joked with a client recently. I didn't know what the word awkward meant until a few years ago. I mean, I had heard it, but I never really felt it because I just, I do exercises, for example, like closing my eyes and visualizing, even if I am around other people, it's just who I am. So for example, here, I invite you, close your eyes, once again, not if you're driving, and ask yourself what on earth you're excited to do most once you are retired. You are retired. What are you spending your time doing? And can you just visualize yourself? You're waking up. What time of day are you waking up? Okay, call it 7:30, 8, but on your schedule. You're taking some time. You're getting breakfast. You're speaking with your partner. What does that look like? Just fun to think through that. Here's why. Not because you're doing it tomorrow more often than not, but it's because it makes it easier to go to work knowing, yes, that's a real thing that's going to happen soon. The next person, be under pressure. I no longer want to be under pressure to accomplish someone else's objectives or meet someone else's deadlines. I like that one a lot. You can imagine there's a lot of that. Next person, feel the pressure of my current job. Yes, no longer, unless you like that pressure, I imagine most people don't. The question becomes, is that pressure that is impacting your health? And if it is, more often than not, we're working through, do you need to do that? The next person says, I will never miss having to be on time. And they do 3 exclamation points there. So they definitely don't like that. Next person here, don't want to join conference calls at 5 a.m. Neither do I. I'm just going to say their name's John here. It's not. But John, I do not want to join a conference call at 5 a.m. I don't want to join one at 8 a.m. Even though I am up early for market purposes. But regardless, I don't want to be on a call. That's my market time. So I hear you there. Next person here, I would mostly enjoy my own schedule and not have to work steady hours. Yep, I like that one a lot. Don't certainly want to have to overwork yourself. Just gonna go through a few more here and then I promise I'll round out. Next person says time freedom with intention. I like that. Time freedom with intention. Next person, more time do what I want to do. Ooh, I like this one. This is a different one. Spending more time organizing my family photos library so I can remember the good times more. I probably should have said this first. So if you're still listening to this episode, hopefully you heard this one, which is spending more time organizing my family photos library. And then he puts in parentheses, I want to have a way to view this more often. I know a lot of people use Nix Play, Nix, and then Play. That's a way to just have like a revolving slideshow always going on in their home. So that's cool. Next person says, I just want to retire early. Help me do that. Love the pod. You're welcome. Next person, Buying back my time. I'm a teacher. Oh, this is hilarious. Buying back my time. I'm a teacher. I work constantly. I can't wait to live on my terms and pee whenever I want. I'm going to say it again. Buying back my time. I am a teacher. I work constantly. I can't wait to live on my terms, pee whenever I want. I would hope peeing is in the job description as a whatever you want. Now, when I say that, my partner is also a teacher, and I know she's not going pee whenever she wants, so I hear you there. Now, I laugh because it's funny, but it's also a little sad. So let's be honest. Let's make sure that any of you that want to go pee at work, you're able to pee without worrying about that. So we'll get off that. Here's the last one I hear here. Heard about ebook from your podcast. Just started listening. Good content for me. Looking at my finances. I want to retire early. Can you help? Yes, I can help. And if you want help on that, check out the description below and you can apply to work with me directly. Lastly here, sleeping. So we'll end on that one. So just, right there, quick 30, 40, 50 responses of what you're excited to no longer have to do once you're retired, and maybe a few things that you're most excited to do. So a lot of those overlap, obviously, but want to make sure that as you guys are retiring, thinking about an early retirement, I have tons of episodes every single week on finances of how to do that. This was a little bit of a different spin here, so hope it was helpful. Want to end it out with just one quick, not a story, but where I'm at in terms of my financial journey, not my personal finances, but here's what I mean by that. Right now, the growth of the podcast has been tremendous because of all of you. So today, I currently work for a firm and we manage about north of $210 million today, of which I work with clients. I manage about 65 clients or so, managing about 100 million, just about north of that today. And when I say that, it's because I want you to know if you are reaching out to me, I am going to keep taking on new clients probably until early next February or March, at which point I will stop taking on new clients. Now, if you reach out, call it a year from now, you wouldn't be working with me, but you'd be working with another advisor here at Root, who I promise will be equally as good, because James and myself, the founder of the firm, James and myself, I'm the vice president, we are going to be training these advisors on exactly the tax planning techniques, investment, overall retirement that I talk about during these podcast episodes. So at that point, there would be another advisor you'd be working with. Once again, as I go through all of this, if you're interested in working with myself or another member of our team, we all have a little bit of a different specialty here. I focus in that early retirement planning. James is focusing on that post-65, really doesn't take on too many clients here any longer. We have other advisors here. Chris, wonderful advisor, focuses mainly on clients accumulating wealth, but also clients who do have millions of dollars, who really want to optimize what they're doing from a tax perspective as well. So we all have a little bit of different specialty here, and that's intentional. I want to make sure that you are working with an advisor who you feel really confident in and you are excited to work with. So that is it for today's episode. Bit of a different spin, but I hope this was helpful, and that if you're looking for some of those other informational, educational, if you will, episodes, check those out. In the past, I've got tons of them, and I'm going to keep them coming. If you have something that you say, Ari, I've got a thought, but I haven't quite seen it yet, you shoot me a note, and I will be happy to answer that directly for you. So submit that question on my website, earlyretirementpodcast.com. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Early Retirement Show. If you have a question that you want answered in a future episode, you can always go to my website, earlyretirementpodcast.com. That's earlyretirementpodcast.com. And you can go ahead and submit a question that I'll look to answer in a future episode. Thank you all for listening. Please do rate it, review it, and share it with someone who you think would benefit from this information, if there's anyone out there that you know. I certainly appreciate it, and I will see you all each week. Hey guys, it's me again. Please be smart about this. Nothing in this podcast should be construed as financial, tax, or legal advice. Consult with your tax preparer or financial advisor before taking any action. This podcast is for informational purposes only.